Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Ick, and this is a new horror comedy coming to you from writer-director Joseph Kahn, and this film focuses on a science teacher, Hank's life changes when he reconnects with his first love and suspects a new student is his daughter, all while facing an alien threat in his town. And this film stars Brandon Routh as Hank, Mina Savari as Stacy, the love of his life, and you have Melina Polly Weissman, who plays his potential suspected daughter. And this film really sets the stage at the very beginning with this whole section of like a de-aged, made-up Brandon Routh and Mina Savari showing their love story. He's the quarterback of the football team, all while this really creepy ick stuff is all popping up everywhere, roots and stuff, and everybody just ignores it, and it's doing no harm to anybody until it does, and Hank knows, but then the whole town is completely blind to it until a few decades later it starts killing people and possessing people and all kinds of fun stuff. And you have this opening sequence which is shiny, full of All-American Reject songs, and so poorly put together. The editing in this movie is atrocious. There are so many scenes that feel like they are cut off so quickly with very little space to breathe or really hit any of the emotions that it's trying to convey, and makes it feel so clunky. And this opening sequence is all this ridiculous sheen and choppiness and just speed racing through everything, a whole bunch of cliches about, the football guy who's, the king of the town, gets hurt, girlfriend dumps him, and you have all of these things happening, and we jump to now, where Brandon Routh's character's like, hey, this girl at school, this really great student who is the love of my life's daughter, oh, I just found out that her birthday was 9 months after I slept with her mom. And you have this whole storyline going on, which is supposed to be the heart of the film, and I think Roth and Weissman do a really good job bringing their characters to life. They feel like the only, real human beings for the most part throughout the rest of the film. You have a few others, like Jeff Fahey is in it for a little bit, and others, but basically it's just Roth and Weissman doing work to really sell these characters. And you have this long subplot of Grace's best friend trying to build this connection with this other guy, and sure, it's nice, but it just feels so tacked on to the rest of the film. And so many of the other characters just feel like complete caricatures, and the dialogue is so horrendous and clunky, but not as bad as the editing, where you have whole scenes that are these are supposed to be big emotional scenes, and it cuts it off so quickly and just moves right on, where you don't even get a chance to breathe. It cuts away from big climactic sequences in such a clunky way that you're like, how the hell did they get out of this? And it feels like this movie is chopped to bits. And then you have the comedy aspects of this, which so many of these jokes don't land. So much of this dialogue is so blunt and trying to this is like a big COVID allegory and lockdown, and people are like, the deep state, and it felt like somebody read Twitter for 5 seconds and then threw a whole bunch of jokes throughout the film and commentary that feels so shallow and just so uninteresting throughout. And all of that, all the commentary, all of that satire feels so forced and lame, it just does not land. And you have the horror elements, which this film has no scares. It has, the creepy ick elements, and it's big, disgusting, and I think the visual effects are pretty good for a film that obviously did not have the biggest budget. But none of it's scary. It has, and it lacks the tension and suspense to really make it thrilling either. And it just feels so unenthusiastically, like, it's there. And there's not a whole lot of thrills that really hook you in this film. And then you have the soundtrack, which there's way too many songs. It's all, like, thrown in there so aggressively. But, like, the soundtrack's great, especially trying to capture this mood of, like, early 2000s, those aught years. And, sure, the soundtrack's fun. But a fun soundtrack and a couple of fun performances are not enough when the humor is so misguided and clunky and not funny, and all the scares are well rendered. Like, the creature's well rendered, but none of the scares hit, and there's barely any tension. So at the end of the day, a horror comedy that has no tension or scares and barely any laughs isn't really working. But if this is something like you love these B creature features that are silly and ridiculous, this checks some of those boxes. But outside of that, like, this is not a good film, and it's very clunky and poorly thrown together. And it's just kind of disappointing because this could have been a fun, nostalgic ride, but instead there's a lot of eye rolling going on throughout this film. But those are my thoughts on Ick. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.